Good morning. Today's the 6th of September, Wednesday, and I'm going to recap my trade plan for today. On my screen is the MES 1 hour chart, and we're currently looking at MES here, 1 hour chart. And yesterday I talked about a potential head and shoulders pattern forming. And we've got this shoulder here, the head, and potentially putting in an hourly while we have put in a right hand shoulder. Whether we're going to see a push down to get back down to this level again, we will find out over coming days or weeks. But we've got the neckline in place and it's broken down through the neckline. So this area here from yesterday, and it was a level I had I was looking at yesterday as well, 4,500. So it came down, it just sat around there, and then it finally broke through. So today I'm going to use similar levels. I'm going to look for a bounce around this daily area, but I'm really watching for 44.82, which happens to be the 200 moving average as well. There's 200 moving average. So let's just zoom out. And it's coming off of this area here, this area of used to be supply, it's actually now demand, so I can probably change that colour so we know where we are. So that's a demand area, so get rid of that, I'll come back to that. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a bounce today, and probably the lower end of this zone, so it'll be around here up to the 200 moving average. That's what I'm watching for. We are quite close, so it is a bit higher risk. However, I will probably layer in slightly with a couple of starter positions. So for example, if we come down, we break this lower end and pull back, and then potentially we could be looking for a push down, and I'll be waiting for that area there for potential long, and then the bottom of the zone. If we break through that zone, then I'll use that as my stop to get out. So that will combat staying in a trade too long if we're looking for a weekday today. As it is a daily level as well, we may have some resistance. So let's just have a look at the volume profile. Interestingly, there's hardly any volume in that area. So this may prove to be, let's zoom out a bit more. Okay, so we'll just zoom out. So there's no volume really from this pivot. So there wasn't much volume up here, and there definitely wasn't much through there. That's why it's so low. But now we're zoomed out, we've got volume coming from this area here. So potentially, last time we was there, it came down for a bounce back up. So today we could potentially be coming down for a bounce back up as well. So hopefully that strengthens the bounce position. So that'll be between 44.80 and 44.86 area, and my preferred area will be 44.83 is what I'm really waiting for. Okay, so that's a bounce. I think it will be a strongish bounce today. If we zoom in, we're putting in a couple bottom, look at that, for a bottom tail in the last hour. So putting in this bottom tail, potentially the bounce may have already happened, but if it does, that's fine. I've got this level here as a potential high risk rejection. That's on 4,500, and we'll have to go, that's high risk, and we'll have to wait for confirmation for that. So if we hit 4,500, I want to watch for a ending volume and a topping tail candle, and then I'll only want to take it on the break of the 5. I'm going to watch the 5 and the 2 minute time frame, so that if the 2 minute breaks and the 5 minute breaks, then I want to get in. I think that's the best way of handling that rejection. Similarly, we could be looking for a break and retest long as well. So again with confirmation, and 4,500 is obviously a big psychological number, so something to keep an eye on. If we get right up here, then I'll be looking for a rejection. Similar areas I discussed yesterday, it will be, in fact, it was probably this area here, 45.20 is what I'll be watching for, and I think that's the best area. Yeah, so and we've got this area as well. So 45.14 to 45.20 is an area to watch out for. So wait for confirmation. And we've got the down decline in 50 moving average now. And just note we are below the 20, the 8 and the VWAP right now as well. But we are above the 200 moving average. So hourly wise, we are technically in an hourly uptrend if you use a moving average. But we are putting in a series of higher, lower low, higher low, so higher low, lower low, higher low, lower low. So, and then, sorry, lower. So it's really hot. It's 30 degrees in my office right now. So I'm gonna get, once I finish the video, I'll put the aircon on. So, but it's a bit loud. So we are technically in an hourly micro downtrend. So we'll be looking to see whether we can break that up or whether we're going to continue the trend down. That's it really. These are the better areas I'm watching for. That's a higher risk bounce, like we just said. That's a higher risk rejection as well, and then there's a higher probability rejection up here. If we do get up to 45.38, I'll be 45.38 to 45.31. This area, I'll be looking to take a rejection as well up there. And that's it. And if we see particular weakness and we do break through the 200 moving average, then the next areas to watch will be, I don't really like that one, but I prefer 44.40, 44.39, that area here. So this is the next area to watch. And last time we pulled back to that area, we saw this big push up, so potential bounce if we get back down to there. So that's the next area to watch. And if we break through there, I'm not sure we will today, but you know, anything's possible. This happened in one day. We've got 44.24 and 44.06 area to watch out for, and then potentially 43.60, but I think that's a few days off. That's it. So we've got a bounce area, and we've got a break and retest and a rejection area, and we've got high probability rejections up here. So going into SPY, it's very similar to ES, but we've got more. Again, this will probably be a better bounce area. So this area here, 4.46 basically, and we've got a biggish gap enough there, so not to want it as a high risk. It's more of a lower, higher probability bounce coming off of that area. So 4.46 as a bounce on SPY, and then we've got this higher area of volume, concentrate volume running through here. So potentially we could use the tops of these candles as a resistance area. So potentially 450 to 451 as a rejection area. So these are the two areas I'm watching for. And obviously we've got 453 as a higher probability rejection area up here as well. Looking at Qs, same as SPY, we've got this area and it came into play here as well. So potentially we could see a bounce at 474.32. We got the tops of these candles here, which is 379.30 as a potential rejection, but let's just clear that. We've got bottom tails there. Last time we saw a bottom tail on the Qs was here, and it pushed up, and potentially we're seeing another bottom tail here as well. Maybe we're going to get another push up, and that will create this inverse head and shoulders pattern, but that's something to keep an eye on as well. So that's NQ, that's Qs I meant, and this is NQ, exactly the same. So potential bounce at 15.400 and rejection at 15.600 area. And then lastly is oil. Let's look at the daily first on oil. Okay, so we had an indifferent day yesterday. Couldn't decide whether we want to go long or short. We are quite far away from the moving averages as well. The 200, the 50, the 20 and the 8. So potentially this is an inside day. This could also be a topping candle and maybe start the rejection back down. So with that in mind, we're probably going to make a readjustment of this level. So back to the hourly. Here we go. So I've already put it in the hourly anyway. So we're watching this area 83.90 to 83.70, that area here for a potential bounce, and that will be coming off of this area. As for rejections, we've got 90.60, and that's probably from the daily. Let's go back. Yeah, so it goes back quite a way. $90.60. I'm not sure where it's coming from. That's the tops of these candles here. $90, so 89, so there. So that's potentially where we could be heading for next, 89.50 area, and we could reject that, or we could reject that. So that's it. Just go back to MES because that's the one I trade the most. Leave my levels up for a few secs. So just to recap, and we haven't looked at the daily actually on the MES right here. So look at that. Potentially this was our topping area, and we're pushed up. We could be looking at a potential bull flag, and we could look for a breakout above that candle, or we could continue to trend down and maybe just push down, but we won't know. We need to see this area get broken, and we've got the 20 moving average below. We've got this pivot here as well, and these pivots here, so it's quite a major area. So potentially we're seeing the bounce right now on the daily. Zoom out a bit, or as I've been saying for the last few days, we could be putting in this shoulder, this head, and then another shoulder for a move down. We're well above the 200, but we are, where are we with the, we're below the 50, so we're below the 50 moving average at the moment, and if we can break through the 8 and the 20, we could see a bit of a move down, but the 8 has crossed the 20 now, so potentially on the lower time frame that's showing us a bit of a push up. And quickly on the weekly, so we've had this bull flag which is broken, so the weekly's still in an uptrend, and we need to break down below that area 4300 for us to see a weekly downtrend. So we're still in the uptrend on the weekly. We're above all the moving averages as well, the 50, the 200, the 20. So, and potentially we're putting in this 3-bar play as well, and we could see a push up to the tops again where we were back in July, and then got a lot of way to go. So still looking pretty strong on the weekly. So that's it. So quickly recap the levels again on MES, and that's done. We've got higher probability bounce here because it's a daily level, the 200, and it's also a demand zone as well. So potentially we could be watching for a bounce. So that's what I'm watching for today. That's going to be my high probability watch, and looking for a higher probability rejection will be around this area where the volume's concentrated, at 45.20 to 45.15, this area. So probably where I've got marked up there, 45.14. So these are the two areas I'm watching for higher probability plays. If we see weakness, I may look for a break and retest short, because if we do break through, we've got this big gap down and lots of void. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for as well. So this level 45.82, 44.80, 45.482 area, 44.86 is an area to keep an eye out, because that could, if we catch the right side of the move, we could see a nice move in either direction, but hopefully down to here, that'd be a nice move down. Okay, right, have a good